This is Suna Valo.
And this is Johannes.
And you're watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are going to talk to you about the 24 games that we have already played releasing at Spiel 2024. This is basically our kind of start of the anticipation videos.
Yes.
Because we are doing a couple of anticipation videos and a couple of other Spiel related stuff. This is the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, this time we're talking about the games that we have played, and we're doing this first, because then when we do our anticipated list, people won't be like, but where is this game and where is this game? Because if it's in this video, we have already played it, and that means we're not anticipating anymore. That is our logic for that reasoning.
So if you are coming here from that other video, hello.
Hello.
Welcome, this is the right place to start.
Yes, and we are going to be at Essen Spiel.
Yes.
That is like an information that some of you might want to know. If you see us, what can you do?
You can please give us a secret sign. It's super secret.
Yes, very secret and nobody sees it. You can also say hello and talk to us if you want to.
Please do.
We're going to be a couple of different places. We're going to be on Friday from 2 to 6. We're going to be on the Chili Fox, Aporta, a Lion booth area. We're going to also be there from 10 to 2 on Saturday. So if you want to come by and say hi or learn a game, demo a game, you can come and say that. On Saturday from 16 to 17/18, we're going to do the Meet and Play. You can search Meet and Play. I'm going to try to put a link as well. I think it's in Whole Europe. I think that is the name. But if it's not, you will find it on the Meet and Play website. With that information out of the way, we're going to talk about these games. We're not going to go deeply into them because most of them we have already spoken about on the channel. And if we haven't, we will do our best to speak more about them in a different video before Spiel.
Yes.
This is basically just talking about all of them and seeing if they might be for you or not. First of all, everything here is a review copy because they're not out yet, so it's not possible to get them in any other way. So we're going to start anywhere. Do you want to start somewhere?
Yes, I'd like to start with Temple Code. And this is a new deduction game by Johan Levitt. And this reminds me, it is Mastermind, basically. And if you're looking for a deduction with a Mastermind element that is also fun because you're both deducing and having like you're on both sides at the same time, basically, and the game gives the solution itself.
So it's not you don't really have a mastermind. You don't have a person who does the thing, but there's some way of you to choose between a couple of cards to try to help and hinder the other player to know too much. It's a very light one, but I enjoyed playing it.
So if you're looking forward to deduction games, you can check this out.
Next up, we're going to have a small one that you might probably not have heard about. This is from Sanger, the same designer who did a game I really enjoy called Vegetable Stock. It's not your favorite game, but I like it a lot. I think you like this one better than Vegetable Stock. This is a very short, it says 15 minutes, I think that is correct, 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty fun, straightforward card game where you are trying to bet on dinosaurs in a race. It's an abstract thing. So basically there's rows of different dinosaurs, and the dinosaur color who has the most cards in the row is basically winning, the color who has the least is losing, and so on. And you are trying to play either the dinosaur cards from your hand. You can't change the order of the cards. You have to play them in order, but you can discard cards if you want to before you play, but then you're going to be out of cards. And you can also play betting cards. You're going to play 2 face up, so everybody knows what you want to do. And you're going to play some face down. Very interesting, fun little game. I enjoyed this one. Next up,
we have Courtisans, and this is a card game where you have 3 cards on your hand and you decide where you want to play them. So you have different colors of the cards, so you can play 1 to yourself, 1 to an opponent, and 1 to like influence the points at the end of the game. This is an interesting one because you can suddenly get a lot of negative points because the card that you play to the middle, you can either decide to play it on the top of like the suit to give potentially positive points at the end of the game, or below to get negative points. So this is a game that reminded me, it was an abstract kind of game. This like reminded me of Biblios, the like things that you, what do you call it?
You bid.
Yes.
The thing that Suna doesn't know, because he likes this game, it's a stock game.
Yes, it is.
It is really a stock game
And
hidden
I
under
like
things.
it, yes.
I'm really surprised by this one. I really like this one.
Yes.
Next up, we're gonna have AI Human 100. AI 100% Human. This is from Explorate, which had one of our favorite games of all time, Federation. So we were excited to play this new one. It is a pretty straightforward drafting game, but it has a couple of cool things. First of all, it makes drafting work for 2 people. And I don't know why I haven't seen this variant before. Basically, I'm going to have my hand, I'm going to choose a card, and I'm going to discard a card. And then we add a random card. So it basically adds a bit more randomness, but then again, it would be the same if I got a random hand of cards from the 4th player or 3rd player with other random cards in it. So that was very clever, and I don't know why I've seen that before. It is also a drafting game with a reserve. So you're going to have a couple of cards in your reserve, you're going to put another card in your reserve, send the rest of the cards, and you're going to choose one of those cards to play. And this is a tableau building game. It's a spatial puzzle, which we really like. And every time you place a card, you're going to score that card instantly. So which means that you always want to play all cards lost. It feels like, but you can't. So you're trying to do the best you can with the order of things. A very interesting game. We only got to play it with 2 so far, but I want to play it with more. So far, really like this. If you like drafting games, stuff like that, you might want to check it out.
Yeah, this is another kind of drafting game. A castle combo has like an open draft. So you decide between 2 rows and take cards from that. You buy cards and you place it to a 3x3 grid, your own tableau. And what you want to do is basically make combos. So the cards has special abilities or final scoring and like suit, and you want to just get points. And this is a very short and sweet game. So if you're looking for like a lighter game, plays in 25 minutes, it says on the box, this is a one that I would recommend.
And you can check it out on BGA if you want to see if it's for you before you buy it. War Story. This is it was one of my absolutely most, and yours, anticipated games for Gen Con. We have played through the campaign. I like it. It is I did not love it as much as I wanted to, but I think a lot of it is just the theme. The war theme, just I don't think I've ever played something like I love a war theme. But the game is basically a choose your own adventure, but it has some interesting tactical, not skirmishes, but tactical encounters where there's no dice, nothing like that. Everything is deterministic, but it's also like you try to choose the right order. The thing is, which I think like if you get into this and you play it multiple times, you're gonna see a lot of different paths because the game has multiple ways to play it, which will change out the outcome of many different things in the game, which I think is a very positive thing. There's 3 missions, but they're not like super short, so you're gonna like play it for 1.5, 2 hours per mission. But then you can play it again and see it very differently outcomes, which I think is interesting. I would have loved to love it more, but I did enjoy my time with it, basically.
This is a very unique game.
It is.
Most unique game that I've played in a while, and it's really clever the way that I've made it. There's a lot of things that we haven't seen in this game, but I like the system, and it's quite hard actually to play it. So I can see like learning more and more to see how to better play it. Next up, we have Rivages, and this is a draft and write game. And so you have 2 cards in your hand to choose from, and you see like the different options for you to draw, and you then scratch out the parts that you used and you send them along to the next player. And the cool thing about this draft and write game is that you want to cross off the most interesting things on that island that you're currently on and decide when you will move on to the next one. So if you like roll and write and want another take on that, you might want to check this out.
It's very unique in many ways, things I haven't seen in a and write before. Next up, we're going to have one that we have already done a review for, one of our favorite games that we have played in a while, Shackleton Base. This is a super cool worker placement game where you are drafting your workers in the beginning and you're using them for many different things. Some of them are forced colored, like the different colors of the workers. Some of them are forced colored, some of them are not. You're trying to both build up a base on the moon, but also fulfill the goals of different companies. And you're going to play with different companies each time you play. It is a super good game on the heavier side of the games that we have played from Spiel, which usually we do like We do like the heavy games.
If you like heavy games, pick this up.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is. Very, very good game. Highly recommended for a heavy Euro players.
A Magic Maze Tower. This is set like in the Magic Maze universe.
Universe of mazes
Yes.
that are magical.
And the Magic Maze, what you call it, mechanisms. So if you're familiar with that, you might be interested in this, but it's a little different because in this game, yes, you're not communicating. It is cooperative, but they've taken away the timed aspect of the game. So you're solving different puzzles, which gets exceedingly harder and more difficult without communicating. I would recommend this if you are playing solo or if you play with a group that don't find it frustrating to not agree on what is the correct solution.
And then you can't speak about it. Did this work for our brains?
No, it didn't.
No.
It might work for yours, so check it out if this sounds fun to you.
Because I love the puzzle.
Oh, yes.
I would love to sit down and play it solo. I just don't know when I'm going to get time to do that.
That's true.
Next up, we're going to have, it is a reprint of sort. This is a League of Six. I think this was the first, it might be not correct, but I think it was the first game CGE ever published from Vladimir Suhi, which is a designer we really love. And when we play this was like very much a blast from the past. This is like, this is such a classic Euro game.
Yeah.
This is like if you are one of those people who are sitting there and like, these new Euro games, they do all these things I don't like. I want to play but classic Euro games. Play this. Like this is, it's very straightforward. You're bidding for different areas and you have to pay when you move away to bid, you have to pay, and it's very tight on the payment. You could like be in a situation, I was multiple times in a situation where I did not have any of that payment, the nights that you pay with.
Yeah, because you're tax collectors.
Yes, I love the theme. It's like the most boring Eurogame theme ever. Yeah. I'm all there for it. You are going to move around, then you're going to go and you're going to choose what you collect, which is also pretty cool. You have this hex that you move around to choose which things you get, resources, knights, and then you have depending on how many horses you get, then you get to decide where you're delivering resources, and you're not just deciding for yourself, you're deciding for the other people around the table as well. So if I choose a row which has like 2 blue, a red, and a green, and I only have 2 red, I put them there, and then if you are to my left and you have that green, you would have liked to put it somewhere where it's getting you more points. But I'm forcing you to put it there. So it has a lot of those interesting things. Every time you collect one of the places, you also get a tile which has a special ability. It's kind of one of those games where I feel like it's kind of weird to play it the first time when we're so used to playing modern Euro games.
Yeah.
Because like, I had to understand these very few systems and how to like exploit those systems. But I enjoyed my play of this, and if you are looking for like a classic Euro game, and if you're like me, is a Vladimir Suhi fan, I think you should check it out.
Yeah. Next up, Spectacular. And this is a dice drafting tile placement game, which you can play in a very short amount of time, 20 to 30 minutes, the box says, and I think that fits with our experience as well. And this has a lot of puzzle decisions in a short amount of time, so you're basically building this, you're creating your own animal sanctuary, and you're placing tiles of different colors to make habitats and get points both for like King Domino scoring and also around these towers that you can create. And the drafting is pretty interesting because you have your own private tiles and dice to draft from, and also a common pool that kind of circulates between the players. So if you're looking for something to play both with families and gamers, crunch in short time, check this out.
Also up to 6 people.
Ooh,
and
nice.
It doesn't take a lot of more time with more people. We played it 5, I think, at Gen Con. Or 6, I think
because
5.
It plays simultaneously.
Yes. Next up, we're going to have one that we already did a review of. We did a review for Spectacular as well, if you want to see more about that. It's Phoenix New Horizon. This is also one of the best games that we have played after Gen Con. This has one of the coolest worker placement systems I have ever seen, where you upgrade your workers in like a very strict, specific manner. It is not like the heaviest game ever, but it's on like the medium to heavy range. So if you are, like, go watch the review. Basically, I feel like we said a lot about the things in there, but it is I'm gonna say the cop-out thing. If you like the games that we like, you're gonna like this. It has that super cool thing with the workers, but then it also has a pretty neat system of the things you do on the board. It has some interaction in it, not like direct conflicts, heavy interaction, but it has more interaction than many other Euro games have, and I adore this game.
Me too. Mesos. This is a game that plays up to 5 people, and you can play it in like 30 minutes. Is that the time we spent on it?
No, a bit more.
A bit more.
I think like an
yes.
hour when we were fun.
But this is a game that it says 2 players on the box. I would not recommend it with 2. I would say like this is a game that shines at 4 players, for example, or
absolutely.
5. It works pretty nicely as well. You are standing in line like King Domino style. So if you place in a position where you get to pick early this round, you will get to pick worse things, basically, or less cards.
Yes.
And you want to have cards of different colors, and you can like feed your workers, and you want to always try to exploit the scorings that pop up in this game for the different colors in the best way possible. So this was a fun one. If you want like a lighter game or for a bigger group like 5 people, I think this worked pretty well with 5 players. You could check this out.
This one was really cool. I really enjoyed my time playing it, and we do still have it on the shelf.
Yes.
Next up, we're going to have Concilium Urbis. This is from the same publisher who did the one we just talked about, Phoenix New Horizon. And it is a I split you choose. So we're just going to build a city in front of you, and you are going to have 4 tiles. You're going to draw them. You're going to choose 2 of them. You're going to basically make them into 2 pairs of 2, send them to your neighbor, depending on the card that tells you if you're going to do it this way or that way. And you're going to get 4 tiles from the other player, look at them, send 2 back. You're going to get 2 back, and those are the 4 tiles you're going to be able to place that round. So every round you're going to place 4 tiles, and then there's different rules. So there's like a rule, and you have like a lot of different ones you can play with. You have rules that says like you want to build in this specific what is it called, like how you place it, shape, yes. And don't build outside of that, because that's going to give you negative points. You want to build these buildings adjacent to those buildings. So things we've seen before. What makes this different from that is that you, during the game, you're going to vote on new rules that come in. They don't change the rules, because that would be horrible. Because now you don't want to build these things beside those things, you get 0 points. But they're going to change them for either score more or less. So you also have this, you want to get votes, so you can vote and try to do the things where it matters to you, and try to manipulate the scorings in a way that works perfectly for you. It's not like a super deep voting thing, but it is interesting enough to making, because I already like the building aspect, and it's sometimes hard having like the 4 tiles and you kind of want all of them, and trying to do like, okay, hope maybe you want those tiles, and then the I split you choose thing. But if you enjoy those kind of things with a little bit of like voting, you could do a negotiation. We did like a little bit, okay, it seems like, oh, for all 3 people, we would like to do that, even though we know inside ourselves, I'm the one who wants it the most. So that is one that if you like any of the things I said, check it out.
Next up is Suna Valo.
It's almost your name.
Maybe. Yeah, almost. This is a 2-player game from O'Day, and this is interesting because you play cards in this game, and the cards that are available are in front of the players, and the players set the price for those cards. And if I want the cards that are in front of you, I have to pay those resources that you have decided.
Yes.
And if you want it yourself, you have to let those resources go.
Yes.
And what you want to do is you want to manage resources, to collect them, have enough space for them, hopefully, and then get points sending them on different contracts. So if you want like a 2-player game that are like more in a Euro genre than the abstract kind of 2-player games, I think this one it might be up your alley.
One thing, which is like, it's a very weird game the first time you play it, because this concept of basically you pay for cards before you get them. And later in the game, that's going to be horrible, because you have to take a new card. And it might be like, you have to pay 3 resources for this, but I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to buy it. and then you have to place 3 resources on it which you really need for other things. And that timing and that mechanism of prepaying for things, and then maybe somebody buys it from you, is very interesting. Next up, we are going to have Sports. This is another dice drafting game where you are building robots. We did a review for this. You can go and check it out. It is a simultaneous play, but like it's basically when it's your turn, I get to do a little thing. Yeah. And then when it's my turn again, I get to do a big thing with more dice. And then when it's everybody else's turn, I get to do a little thing. So I draft them dice when it's also not my turn, so that I don't have to wait for so long when you are doing all your combos, which you always do, because you're just like, I have 16,000 dice now, which I will use to build 400 robots.
Oh, you're talking about me specifically.
Yes, I am talking about you specifically.
Giving like an example.
No,
yes.
The example of playing against you in games where you can get stuff. It is an interesting game where you are trying to basically build up combos of these different special abilities for the robots you build up. It's pretty straightforward. It's not super heavy. Basically, you are building robots, placing these assistants that help you out with special abilities, and you're trying to do the best of it. It is a shorter game, 45 minutes. Try to do the best of it during 4 rounds.
Did you say
playing.
It was dice drafting, kind of? Yes.
It is dice drafting.
Yeah. Next up is Beyond the Horizon, and this is a new kind of version of Beyond the Sun, which I enjoyed a great deal.
Yes, a lot.
And it has, if you're familiar with that game, it has kept a lot of the core concepts. So it's a worker placement game with one worker, and you are constantly trying to unlock more and more worker placement spaces and more abilities, and you're kind of choosing your own path, because there are multiple like categories of abilities you can have in this game, and therefore it feels kind of different from time to time when you play it, deciding which like route you want to go for.
Yeah, I didn't know about this game. I heard a name, and then we got it. It's like, this looks very familiar.
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's basically because it is from the same designer and a few other designers. I feel like so far, I need to play it more, but that the changes are interesting, and it's hard to say like better or not better because I haven't played Beyond the Sun in a few years. But they have changed a couple of things which I do like better. And they have changed up the map system. That is going to be, I think, you're going to like it better or like it not, don't like it better. It's not like this is a revolutionary way of doing it, but I enjoy the end of game triggers. I enjoy better that the level 4 technologies are open from the beginning. So you kind of have you can choose like a route. It's not going to be like, it's not completely random in the other one as well, but this is less random in that way. So there are things here I do like more. And I'm excited to play it more. Next up, we have a game that was like a big surprise to both of us, which is another Cranio game. It is Golden Cup. This is a whimsical, like this is a silly game. And it is a silly game that's like an hour long, which means it's not like just like doing stuff. It is a strategic silly game.
Yeah.
You are playing a sport, and you are trying to play that sport with the best team possible. In the beginning, you have a horrible team. You have a clumsy team. They even lose your points every time they try to kick the ball. I don't know if you kick the ball in this game, but it seems like you do something with a ball to get points. And then you will lose points. But then you can get better people that when they are in a combat with a game, that's what they call it in sports, in a game, you will get benefits instead. So basically you are doing this economic thing where you're trying to build things. You don't have a lot of money. You're trying to do the best with it. And then you're going to have, if you're a 4-player game, you're going to have 2 versus 2. So both of us could have a match. That's what I think they call it.
Yeah.
A match where we like draw shits from a bag. So it's kind of like you're trying to seed the bag with the best stuff possible. It's random, but it has just enough things to make it less random. And I like it better than I ever think I would.
Yeah, I thought I would hate it. I actually really enjoyed it, but you have to be okay with the randomness of the order you draw the shits in. That has to be something you need to accept for you to enjoy this game. I want to talk about Yokohama
Do
because
it.
this is the new edition of an older game. If you haven't heard of Yokohama, it's a
Hear about it.
it's a really great game. And now with the new version, we got an excuse to play it again, which was really lovely. And the new version looks amazing. In this game, you have like one, I don't know what, foreman or something.
Yes.
The meeple that is slightly bigger
CEO of your
than
company.
the others, and you are placing out these smaller meeples to give your bigger meeple a path to move on, and
Theme.
also yes, and also determines the strength of the action that you're trying to do. And you're collecting resources and converting them into points, Euro style. And I just really enjoy this game, and I want you to check it out if you like Euro games.
It feels very much like it's a race game, and it feels very much like a race game because you know you're going to always try to be as efficient as possible, even trying to be more efficient, trying to get in somewhere and get like a 5 bonus, like there's a special bonus for everyone, every single location, and all of these things makes it a very interactive, very interesting game. Highly recommend this one. It is super good. Next up, we are going to have a pick up and deliver game from Alicat Games. This is a lighter pick up and deliver game. I love the look of this board because it gives you what you like. You look at it and you know it's not going to be like a heavy Euro game. All the spaces are big. It gives me that feeling of a lighter gateway game, and it's a pleasant game. You have your little pretty chunky big railroad.
A little chunky big.
Locomotive.
Thank
Train.
you.
Train was the thing I was looking for. You have your little chunky big railroad. You're gonna move that from city to city. You will be able to buy resources, and you have these nice little train cars that you place. I really like the components of this one. The train cars that you place, you can get upgraded things. You can have the deliveries be cheaper. You're trying to basically make a route of where you want to go. You also have these tickets, basically like ticket to ride. You want to go from here to here. Here is just like you have to be one place and you have to be another place because you don't lay track in this game. All the track is already laid out for you. Nice. So basically you can play this as like a sequel to Ticket to Ride. Yeah. You play Ticket to Ride, you lay out the track, then you play station to station to actually move station to station. If you are in the need of a lighter pickup and deliver game.
Yes, no, you're just picking things up.
Yes, you will not win if you only pick things up. That is my that's my pro tip for this one. Check it out. I enjoyed it. It might be a bit too light for me, but I think this is going to be good for a lot of people. Next up, you want to talk about this one?
Let's talk about Resafa. This is a Euro game from Vladimir Surhi, and you are, in this game, you are playing cards to do your actions, and they are like double action-y.
Sided. No, not double-sided.
Yeah.
Split in the middle.
Split in the middle. So when you're choosing one action, you're also choosing away. That's not a word. Yeah.
Blocking the other action.
Yes, thank you. And you want to do several things. You want to move on tracks to give you certain abilities and bonuses and final scoring. You want to move on the map to and collect trade goods that you can trade for points and also coins. And you want to build buildings so you can produce, and also build gardens so you can get both points and coins and stones and stuff. And you want to interact with, I don't know, is it the canals?
Yes, you're building like the water because Resafa did not have water into the city, so you're basically building the canals into the city.
Right, and then
I know the thing.
Yes, and then you can interact a lot with the other players, trying to steal the water that they have intended for their canal for your own canal, or together.
Yes, not like canal. Barrage stealing.
No, this is more not of a like this
nice
game.
Euro stealing.
Yes, so if you want some nice Euro stealing, check out this game.
Next up, we are going to have another small game, Gardlings. This is a push your luck game. This is one where I felt, because I always get frustrated with push your luck games, when I bust. I always push my luck, and then I bust, and I get frustrated. And even when I don't push my luck, because in this one you don't want the gnomes. The gnomes are bad gnomes. And then when you start the third round with only gnomes, it feels bad. Of course, that's because you're unlucky, and that's kind of, you have to be okay with that in a game like this. because what you do is fun. You're drawing tiles, you're placing them, you're placing the same color adjacent to other colors, trying to get as many gems as possible so you can buy better tiles for your bag. And it's a race game, trying to be the first player who has 20 gems at the end of the round, so you can buy basically the gold, the trophy. Yes, I almost said a Norwegian word, which did not make any sense. It is a light game. If you are playing Quacks of Quedlinburg and you feel like, oh, that destroyed my game because I did bust, but you would like that same feeling of, oh, yes, I got it, or oh, I busted. But you get it more times and you don't feel that bad because it's a shorter game, then you might want to check out Gardlings. We only have 2 more games.
Yes, and one of them is Asian Tigers.
It is. The other one is not Asian Tigers.
Yes. Spoiler alert! This is a new game from the designers Nuno Bizarro Sentiero and Paulo Soledade, and the reason I mention this is that they made 2 quite amazing games.
2?
Yes, and probably more, but the ones that we really enjoy is Madeira and Nippon.
Yes.
So if you like those games, you might want to check this out, but let me talk a little bit more about it. This is a worker placement game, and where you can place your workers varies from game to game, and also like from round 1 to round 2, because you have a different colored meeple. So if a gray meeple is already placed in one area of the board, you can only go there with the same color. And what you want to do is build buildings into the different 4 tigers or countries.
Areas.
Yes, and which have their own separate economy to get benefits and also majority or influence in those areas. And you want to also collect these resources to buy flags, which you will use to build your own final scoring, which we think is pretty cool. This is like I would say a heavy Euro game.
Yes.
And
on the heavier side
really crunchy brain decisions going on when I play this game.
And we did a full 30 plus minutes review of this if you want to go deep into seeing more about it. The last game is going to be a Saltfjord. This is the reimagination, I want to call it, of Santa Maria, which we already thought was a good game. But I think all the changes done in this is better, makes it a better game. So if you are one of those being like, oh, I want to play Santa Maria, but didn't for one reason or another, Saltfjord is the way to go. It is a medium, pretty quick game. Like you can play it in 45-50 minutes with 2 people, a bit more than an hour if you play with more. It says up to 90 minutes. I think you can play it in 90 minutes with 4 people. You're drafting dice, and you're using those dice then, depending on the color of the die, to activate either a row or a column of your player board. And that player board is starting out with just a few buildings you can activate, but you can buy new buildings to place on there and activate those buildings. And it's a good game. And those are 24 games. A lot of games that we already played. We have, I think we have 7 or 8 games still that are Spiel lists that we haven't played. There might be a few more. We're going to try to get through as many as possible to talk to them about them before Spiel. But this is going to be the end of this video soon.
Just a little reminder, if there's some of these games that look interesting to you, we have either made content for those games already, so check that out on the channel, or we will make it very shortly. And stay tuned for the upcoming anticipated games that we haven't played for Spiel that's coming very soon.
Okay, that's going to be it. If you enjoy what we do, you can subscribe! You can do it! It's free!
We believe
in you! You can do it! You can also click the liking thing, comment below what is of this one, the most one you are the most excited about.
Yes.
We would love to do that discussion with you. If you have any questions, let us know, and that is going to be the end. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Suna Valo.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.